Bang, bang. Stack video of the week. This is where you're going to make your money on the stacks and the run backs. So we're going to go over our top 3 stacks. If you haven't, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Pause this video right now. Like the video. Appreciate you. Go to the DFS Dads on both Facebook and Twitter. We put out showdown content for free. All right, let's get into it. A couple things you want to look at usually when you're stacking is the point total, typically over 50 points. You would also like a game that is usually the spread is 5 points or less. Now, this isn't always, and it doesn't always have to be this, but you want closer, tight spreads because you don't want blowouts, and you want points scored on both sides. So we have 4 or 5 games above a 50-point spread. Price is going to start us off. Our favorite dad, Pricio.
With one that's not over a 50-point spread. It's over under. It's only 45, but I think there'll be more than 45 points scored in this game.
There is exceptions to the rules, but ideally you're looking for it.
I'm a rule breaker. I'm going this route, and I'm going to take Trubisky against my god-awful Texans defense and pair him up with Allen Robinson and maybe even some Darnell Mooney. He had to leave today for a personal issue, but he's super cheap. He's 3,500. He had been averaging like 7 targets a game over the last month. And against a trash defense, he's going to get loose, score a long touchdown. You have Robinson, who's going to catch everything over the middle. You could even run it with Komet, who's come on the last few weeks. I know Chris was giving me some lip over Montgomery last week because I do not think he's good at football, which he's not. But he's in a decent spot against a bad Texans defense. But I just like the passing attack better in this game. Then on the flip side, Watson's been a monster all year. Last week, he did have the fumble to lose the game on the goal line, but he still scored 25 fantasy points. I mean, it doesn't matter who's out there. He's going to throw them the ball. I mean, Chad Hansen went off. Kiki Kute went off. Brandon Cooks had a mediocre game. But my favorite ancillary piece to run it back with the Bear stack is going to be Jordan Akins. We talked about it on our pod. Dustin and I kind of hinted at he's due for a big game. He dropped 2 touchdowns Thanksgiving. He had an okay game. He caught 2 or 3 targets last week. I mean, he's due to pop off on a team that does not cover the tight end very well. The other problem with the Texans side of it, besides him, Cooks is 6,100, and he's not in a good matchup. I don't really want to play Kiki Kute at 5,000. If he was in the mid-4s, maybe. Chad Hansen at 3,900. Is he even going to get targets again this week? You don't know. And then they split the running backs so often that Duke and David get pretty much the same work, so it's kind of pointless. And Chicago's decent against the run. So I really like the Chicago stack of Mitch, A-Rob, and then run it back with the cheap Akins.
Bang, bang. Make your money. Dustin, you want to go now? You want me to go?
I'm up, man.
Go.
So I'm also going against the grain here. Mine's almost at 50, and it might get there by game time. But the Chargers versus the Falcons. So you got 2 teams that don't know how to win, and they're playing each other. So they'll probably just keep blowing the lead, back and forth, and hopefully score a ton of points. But I'm going to attack this from the Chargers side of the ball with the quarterback in Herbert. He obviously has one bad game all year long, and that was this last one against the Patriots. And so I'm just writing that game off. He still threw a ton of times, and I just feel like he is in a good bounce back spot. Atlanta's like 30th in pass yards allowed per game. And so I think they're just going to, light it up and try to get that offense back on track. You can go a few ways here. So Atlanta's terrible versus tight end. So you got Hunter Henry. Keenan Allen is obviously always a mismatch there in the slot. And then you got Eckler, who's getting, about 10 targets out of the backfield to go along with some rushing. So I almost think you could do the triple stack here if you want to get real crazy in a GPP. But I prefer Eckler and Keenan Allen. I just think they have more volume, but I really think Hunter Henry can pop off especially with how bad Atlanta is against the tight end. Running it back, you have the option of going Julio or Ridley, or you could even run it back with two of them, or choose the tight end Hurst for Atlanta, because the Chargers are also not good versus the tight end. So the Chargers have kind of a skewed secondary. If you look at the raw numbers, they look like they're pretty good against the pass, but you got to look at some of the teams they've played. So obviously last week they just got run all over them. And so Cam Newton, I think, had barely 100 yards passing. They didn't have to do that. They played the Jets a couple weeks ago. They played Miami when Tua was just starting. He didn't have a ton of yards. You look back to actual good quarterback play, and they got lit up. Tom Brady threw for like 400 yards, 5 touchdowns on him. Drew Brees, 330, 3 touchdowns. I forget who. There was another quarterback that lit him up for 300 plus and 3 touchdowns. So good quarterback play. They've been very susceptible to the pass. So I just think it's one of those games. It's only 49 points over under, but I feel like it can get way, way bigger than that, especially with, the pieces that are going at each other. You have explosive offense in Atlanta that hasn't been very explosive of late, and they're due to pop, and then you have the Chargers in a bounce back spot after a terrible week. So I really
Don't forget
like
about
it.
Mike Williams either. He got 9 targets last week.
Yeah, I think that's a little more of an anomaly because of the
Being
game
down
script.
so much, but he's a monster target downfield for him.
He's one of those guys that, he might not do anything for 3 games and he'll pop off for an 80-yard touchdown. So, in a GPP spot, he's definitely going to be lower owned. So you can always throw in a piece like that, like Price said, and in the MME format, I think that's a better play.
I love both those picks. Both those top 3 stacks are on the money. Now, definitely check us out at dfsstats.com before we go into our last stack. We are adding a dad. We're adding another sport, the NBA. The price is going up. We got to pay for the whole show here. So get in while the getting is good. Go to dfsstats.com and let's get into the third stack here. The third stack, might be the third stack, but in my humble opinion, I think it's the best stack of the week. The highest total, 55.5 points, maybe 56, depends on where you're looking at. The Packers and the Lions. Now, the Packers are, I believe, 7.5 point favorites, so it doesn't meet all of our criteria, but it at least meets the critical criteria of you want a game that's going to produce points on both sides of the ball. Now, the way I'm going to stack this, and I'm looking to stack it, is Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, who is a complete monster. Earlier this year, he ended up going out because he got hurt in the game. But he started out good. He was doing fine. And the Lions have both their top secondary players out, which doesn't say much because they were already pretty bad, even their best corners, with Jeff Okua, the stud from Ohio State, the rookie, and then Desmond Trufant are both out. So with that said, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are just going to go bananas. You can look at the running backs at Aaron Jones. He's going to do good things as well. I personally, if I'm going to do Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, that's a lot of salary. So I'm not going to be able to double stack that side of the ball with their team. And also, honestly, Aaron Rodgers, for whatever reason, he's on this revenge MVP dream season just continues. And at the red zone, they just throw the ball in the red zone. They throw it to Devontae Adams for a 1 or 2 yard touchdown, and it drives people like Price crazy because he picks Aaron Jones and doesn't get the goal line touches, and then Jamal Williams. But so Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and run it back. There's no Galladay. If Galladay was playing Matthew Stafford, you could want to stack that side and then just run it back. But without Galladay, it looks like the tight end, TJ Hawk, is the play to run it back. So I'm expecting some fireworks. I really wish Galladay was going to be playing because I think the Packers are going to get up early on in the game. And so a GPP MME entry could be a Matthew Stafford. But my main stack is going to be Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and run it back with TJ Hawk. Any reservations with that? Anything to add on that stack? Either dads?
I think it's a good stack. The one thing to remember about you can still play Aaron Jones with Rodgers because look at what he did to these lines in week 2, where
Did he put up like 50 points?
He ran for 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 8 targets, 4 catches, 60 yards, and another touchdown. So he has popped off and destroyed them before already this season. But you have to pick probably between him or Adams. So obviously Adams makes more sense in the correlation part of it because they do force feed him the ball.
I mean, I would say if you want to stack Matthew Stafford, and you could run it back with Aaron Jones because the game theory there is that the Lions are going to be down. They're going to be running the ball, the Packers.
Or if you want to fade Devontae, you could do Rodgers, Jones, and Tanyan, which would be an interesting little stack.
Who would you run that back with? Would you do dual tight end?
I would either do dual tight end or Marvin Jones. As long as I'd want Galladay back and run it back with Marvin Jones because Jair Alexander is going to cover whoever there's playing out of them two. So if Galladay's out, I don't want to mess with Jair Alexander. He's been phenomenal this year. I think he's had one bad game.
Yeah, he's not supposed to shadow him, but they're not always right on the calls. We kind of saw that in
Debo,
where they who was it that was supposed to?
Tre'Davious White shadowed Debo.
Yeah. So
the double stack in theory would be awesome, but in reality, when you start building and you have a 9-3 Devontae and 7K plus Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers got priced up. He's not 6,800. He's 75 now. For DraftKings, it makes it really tough to do that. So that's our 3 stacks. Hope you guys enjoy it. Appreciate all the support and love. Leave a comment if you have any questions. We'll definitely answer that. And let's go make some money.